Yeah, there's no privacy no more. Especially when you're trying to be a public figure, you really,
shit, man.
there's nothing left.
TMZ has changed the game. They reported Prince died, and everybody agreed with it because TMZ said it. Man.
Yeah, I mean, now you can really, like, you know how many death hoaxes there are? It's like, oh man, like this guy died. It's like, oh, he did?
Yeah.
And then like the next day, it's like he tweeted, "Good morning, everybody." You're like, wait, what? Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. J Bell out here. How you doing, Lil?
What's going on, man? Good, man. Good.
I like the shirt. You a nerd just like us?
I am very much so. I'm more Marvel than DC, but just something about Superman. Like ever since I was a kid, and Christopher Reeve was the truth. Like,
You know what I learned? That Superman is the superhero that makes the most money.
yeah.
I didn't. For a long time, I thought it would be like Iron Man, like just recent times.
Yeah, close second has got to be Batman.
So like we found the order of like superhero income. Like Superman's like #1, and then I think #2 is like number 2 and 3 are so close to Spider-Man and Batman.
Yeah,
they're super close to each other.
Yeah, man.
But Superman's like, you know how much money Superman makes a year? It's unfucking ridiculous.
I can believe it because
6 billion.
damn, really?
6 billion, and that's the shit. I'm like, yo, he don't have no new movies. I'm like, where's his money coming from?
I recently watched Superman Returns. That movie sucked ass. Superman has a kid. Like, come on now. His sperm would have shot through Lois Lane so fast.
Oh shit.
Talking about speeding bullets.
Yeah,
man. That's
Miss
hilarious.
Lane, she's done.
Lane, yeah. What happened? Her skull got shot out.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's just something to think about. And I've been in the entertainment business for like 15 years, so I can't feed my children off exposure. And that's just what it is. Like,
That is shit.
yeah, I can't.
Yeah, like the way that you said it, like damn.
Yeah, that's the reality behind it. Like,
Can't feed your kids off exposure. That's a good
at all,
point.
at all. I'm not against it, and I think independent films are super dope, man. If you look at Birth of a Nation, that was an independent film that got shot at Sundance and was picked up, paid for $17 million. It took $100,000 to shoot, but people got paid.
They did?
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the ins and outs, but like, if you look at the movie Friday, which is a co-classic.
Yeah, they paid like nothing to get that shit done.
Dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Some cats like made maybe 5,000, and the movie grossed like maybe 120 million or something like that. It's crazy. But later on, Cube got them together, so that's dope. But yeah, man, it's a sketchy, it's a risky game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just now like, okay, like I'm coming from stand-up, where it's like, so my difficulty with going from stand-up to acting was like, when we're doing stand-up, it's like you're the writer, producer, actor, like you everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can form my own lines as I wrote them. But as an actor, you're doing the lines that somebody else wrote for you, and you got to play a character that you don't know nothing about. Like I can play a character that I made because I made them on stage.
Right.
So that was my biggest difficulty, was like becoming somebody else with different lines. I'm like, that's actual acting.
Yeah.
Like stand-up is, I don't think stand-up is acting so much, because I mean it is, but like the difference is the performer creates. They're the writer, producer, character. Like everything is done by you. But when you acting, you're given lines.
Right.
So like how do you make that like distinction? Like how did you go from like doing your own shit on stage to becoming somebody else?
I had to do a movie called Once Upon a Time in Detroit, and I played this guy named Big Phil, who was a
Big Phil,
dope dealer. He was a like a pimp. He was like all types.
Oh shit, he was the ultimate hustler. He was doing everything.
A lot of shit I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like
the character that I was playing too. I played a stoner.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
So I was like, I don't smoke. I drink here and there, but like, I don't smoke.
But what I do is I try to find somebody that I've met in my life that is closest to this character.
You look for
yeah, no, I feel it. Like, I mean,
yeah. Look, I'm not gonna tell you.
No,
like,
I grew up in the D, so you know what I'm saying. It's not hard. They used to be trapping them over there at that Coney Island, American. Like it was wild.
When I first moved here, we were like I moved here like when I was like 3 from India.
Oh shit.
Born in India, yeah. So when I got here, we were not the. Looking back at it, I didn't realize how unsafe the neighborhood was, because my mom was like, hey, you can ride your bike on this block, and you're gonna be inside by 6 p.m. I was like, by 6 p.m? She's like, you better be inside.
Your son's house.
And that's what I was saying. She was like, wait, what do you mean? It's so early. And then looking back at the neighborhood, I was like, you let me go outside? What the hell? I was like, don't you love me, Ma?
What kind of mother are you?
I know.
Probably no.
But so yeah, like I still got friends who like man, they still doing some shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, like
Please don't.
I guess
Don't Tekashi 6ix9ine yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that to them like that. But so what do you do like when you approach them? It's like, hey man, it's been a minute, but how do you do what you do? Like,
no,
how
you
do
know what I mean.
them?
It's like that aspect of that situation. I grew up with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up.
Oh, okay.
Like I know,
Yeah.
like you know what I'm saying. So like how would they act? Like it was a line I had to say, like close my goddamn door. It's like I've heard people, I've heard my dad yell and say that shit. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, you start to pull from different things, and then the comedian side of you, not even on being funny, it's just learning how, like when you do a joke, you kind of try it out different ways and different tones, different, you know what I'm saying, repetitions, different cadences, and like you learn that, and you learn to transfer that into what you do. It's not hard to do, but once you learn it, I was told by Downtown Tony Brown, you think you a comedian, you grab 1,000 mics. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean, grab 1,000 mics? I didn't know. Then actually when I did it, I was like, oh, because you learn so much shit. Like you learn this
one
and
thing
you
about
transfer it.
Well, one thing about comedy too is you can only learn by getting on stage.
That's it.
Like if you're a musician, you can learn in your basement by yourself,
Yeah.
like with like a laptop and like music software. You can like experiment with it, but you don't know
How good you are.
yeah, exactly. That's but like as music, you can do it by yourself. If you're doing stand up, like you can write all day, forever. You don't know if none of it's good until you get on stage.
Until you get on stage, until
Like-
you try this shit out, see if it's good or bad, and see what needs to be reworked. Like, man, that's a part of it.
How many? I can't tell you how many times like because like the way that I write is like I do like straight up like I have like a whole journal. I just hand write everything, and like when I get on stage, I word for word say what I wrote. Like,
wow, really?
Word for
That's
word.
a
Like,
script.
but what
That's
some people,
hard.
yeah, what some people do is like they'll go like here's an idea. Here's like they have like bullet points, right?
Yeah.
I can't do no bullet points. I
So-
just do exactly word for word what's on the paper is exactly how I say it with the same hand motions. Like I'll write hand motions in there too.
Yeah.
Everything is written.
Yeah. Wow. Like
Everything is written down.
interior day.
Yeah.
Comedy club, 7:30 p.m. Like, wow, that's crazy. But no, for me, when I first started, I would do the same thing to a certain degree, and then he got paid $1 million to do that shit. But yeah, man.
Battery died, but we back. So I was just telling him that like everything I do is like written out exactly. So I was like, well, that's why you started, right?
Yeah, I kind of like I would do that, and then the comedian told me, he was like, "Yo, Jay, you too robotic on stage." Like you could tell, like that it was scripted. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing was like he told me, shout out to Blackberry, man, cool dude. He told me to go freestyle tonight, man. When you go up tonight, don't do any of your written material. Just
crowd work.
Yeah. Well, not even crowd work. Just start telling some stories of your life and then see where it works out. And I bombed. I bombed terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I ate monkey nuts, man.
Yeah, look, there was like, I love the way that comedians describe like how they bombed.
Yeah.
That's always like the people like, man, like I ate dick, I ate hog, monkey nuts.
Yeah.
It's always like a bomb, like always the most extreme scenario.
Mike Bonner said one time, I was like, how you do at the show one time? He was like, man, I ate a bag of baby dicks. I was like, but it's
like what an analogy.
But it's needed because like I don't trust comedians that tell me they haven't bombed, because when it happens, look the fuck out, because they're gonna hit a fuck. It's the scariest thing that you can do is like never bomb your career and get on stage at the Fox or Fillmore or you at Madison Square Garden and you fucking bomb, and like you better watch out. They might kill themselves. Like
I mean, I feel like by the time you get to okay, I can tell you like I do not consider like I've ever bombed before. I've had bad shows. Like I've had shows where like I'll be like doing my set out like 10-15 minutes lined up and no one laughs. Yeah. I've had those, but I've never had people straight up like get out of here like boo.
No, and I'll take that. I receive that. This is what I hate when you say, yeah, and then I threw a midget in the garbage can. That's your punchline, and then all you hear is.
Oh, that's
like
the
that
worst.
one? Oh man, when they hit you with the cough.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's bad.
That's worse than crickets, by the way. Because in movies, like you hear crickets, no, the cough is much worse.
Is like
because you know that was like fake ass.
It's not
somebody like, oh, that's the worst part.
It's like no mucus behind that. No, like they don't even need the cough at this point. They just want to let you know that terrible.
Next.
Yeah, next, please. So, like, my writing has evolved because I'm living life, and this journey has been so crazy. So, being married and then having children, and you know what I'm saying, certain situations in life, and, like you expound upon it. I remember Eddie Murphy was talking about how he got on stage at 15 and his whole set was about taking a shit, because he said at 15 that's all I had done in life. Like,
no, I mean, to be a comedian you have to live first. Like that, we've discussed this so many times on this podcast. Like, you're not gonna have like a Justin Bieber kind of talent in comedy.
Right.
Like, you can't do it because, like, to be a comedian you gotta have shit to talk about. Like,
yeah, man.
But like, if you were like a singer or a musical artist, like, you can just have that in your head. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, if you're doing music, you don't need to get on stage for that.
No,
you can be in your basement mixing shit and like
record it and then put it out here.
Exactly,
and nobody knows who you are, and it's just popping. Like, you know what I mean?
But like, when you, like, as a comedian, like, the way you look matters. Like, the way that you, not just the words you say, but like how you
facial
say,
expression,
all that shit matters. For music, it don't matter who made it. No one cares who made it.
Yeah.
Like, the only time someone asks who did this song is if it was good.
If it's good, yeah.
If it's bad, you like move on. Nobody.
Because you heard so much bad music.
That's one thing too. By the way, it's not like when I say like I've had like bad shows, it's not as bad as people say it is. Like, it's awkward in the moment, but like it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But for people who are like, I don't want to do stand up and get on stage because like I'm embarrassed, I'm gonna get booed, like, it's not that bad.
It's funny when comedians acknowledge that they're bombing on stage, like, whoo.
Yeah, I know. Look, I've had jokes.
What do you want to talk about? That shit.
I told a joke. So like the first time I went on stage, I actually went pretty well. I was very happy with it. Second time, look.
Same for me. The first time I did stand up was May 4th, 2004.
You got the date?
At 9 p.m.
Man.
I'll never forget that shit, man.
Remember the venue?
Yes, it was 227 Iron Street. It was Red Apple Gallery. It was a record release party for my cousin. He had me hosted, wanted me to do 10 minutes of comedy. I said I'll do 3. Hosted, did the 3 minutes of comedy, brought the acts up. The show was supposed to end at 2. It ended at 12:30. So they had that 2 o'clock time. So I was like, let's just have the DJ do what he do. He said, no. Why don't you go do some stand-up? And I didn't know he had me planned for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I went to go do the stand-up.
That sounds like family.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like some shit that.
I go do the stand-up, and I was like, give me a double shot of Hennessy. And like, I don't drink now before I go on stage, but back then I needed to. I get the shot, I go on stage, I sit on stage for like at least 10 seconds quiet, just looking at the crowd, which is a long fucking time. 10 seconds, just shut up for 10 seconds.
It doesn't sound like, when you on that stage too,
that's
like,
a long
1 second on that stage feels like a motherfucking eternity. Like, it's, because like, I know as an audience, you're looking at it like, oh, like, he's quiet. No, when you up there, you're like, you don't hear nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, that's a scary feeling, yeah.
So I'm quiet, and I go into a joke about my mom and my dad arguing, and then it led to my grandmother and grandfather arguing, and then it was something, I was doing stuff that I didn't know I was doing in comedy, like a callback on that joke, and it was like, and I would do it later on in the set, and it hit, and then it felt like 15, maybe 20 minutes had went by, and I was like, thank you, good night. And as I'm walking off stage, my cousin punched me in the chest. It's like, yo, you know how long you was on stage? I was like 15, 25 tops. He was like an hour and 45 minutes. We had to change the tape. Like they still have that tape to this day. And it was just like, wow, crazy shit, man. And then my next show, I bombed terrible.
Yeah.
Like, cause I didn't know. I thought you could it's just something you can pull out. You can do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm about to go kill this again. And then crickets.
Yeah, the first time I did it, it was like, I mean, cause like the first time I went on stage, I was writing and preparing for like a long time. And then the second time I was like, okay, I don't need none of that old shit. I'm gonna do all new material, all new. And I remember it was at Michigan State. It was like a student union. And I went up there. And by the way, don't do open mics for like talent shows. Like go because like if you have people who are like dancing, magic tricks, don't do stand up there. Don't do stand up there.
I lost against a guy that was doing a church mime act, and it was just like someone asked the question. I was like, oh, he won.
Yeah, like
he brought God in it.
When I remember the joke too, because I'm talking to like Mike. Shout out to Mike Jeter, by the way.
Yeah, big shout out, Big Mike.
I told him the joke, and the punchline was like, and black dick. And then he was like, Pary, never say black dick on stage ever again. Never. And I showed him the tape. Nobody said nothing. There was not a single sound in the audience. And like all you hear is like this. Like you hear, like, like you just hear someone like put their like water bottle down on the table. And like I heard that on stage. I'm like, all right.
You hear everything.
Have a good day.
Everything. All right, thank you.
Bro, your senses are heightened. like everything, like you see everything, you smell everything, you hear it. Oh god.
Yo, it's funny because like back in the day, a lot of comedians, like I know in Detroit we did this. Like if we had a terrible set, we would say thank you, good night, and we would leave with somebody else's name, like thank you, good night. Like no, you're not gonna remember my real name because I know you don't right now. So yeah.
But what I used to do was like I always had like one joke in the back of my head that I was like, this is gonna like it's a one-liner that always works, and I'm gonna put it at the end of any sentence like horrible, right? One time I forgot it. But that was my biggest fear, is like I don't want to forget what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Which it happened to me.
It does.
But the thing is, after it happens, you're like, oh, like that's not that bad.
Yeah.
And like, but that time it was suck. It was at Punchline in Southie.
Yeah, I know.
So for those of you who don't know, black rooms are very different than any other kind of like they want you to laugh. Like
we usually say urban rooms.
Urban rooms.
That's when you know it's a black room. Yeah. You go out to LA, it's like, yo, where are the urban rooms at? Like, that bullshit.
It's
niggas in that bitch.
It was a different experience because they had like this. I remember the joke too. It was like, and I grew up here, and I forgot the punchline, and I just saw everyone's eyes staring at me.
Just with that empty look space.
That's it. And I was like, God bless you, have a good day. And then he was like, God bless you, fuck.
Yeah. Cause we, like me and my wife, man, shout out to my wife Peace, man. We hosted a spot called They Say. It was an open mic mic series. And it was like a show like live band. We had the studio audience.
Oh man.
We had poets, comedians, singers would come up in there, and the comedians I will always like give the hardest time to, because it's like you're gonna need that. You want to have that. It's imperative to give that hard time to a comedian so they know how to work that out, because it happens. It happens when you're on the road, when you're in your time, like it happens. So, but with the comedians, I will say they would love to come to They Say, because it was incredible, right? If they liked you, they loved you.
Oh, I mean,
and they would tell you. If they didn't, they would let you know as well. So, not like some places. Like some places, it's like, get the fuck.
Yeah.
Like you like shit.
That happens very, very like not as often as people think. Like no one's gonna tell you to get the fuck off stage. Like maybe Detroit here or there, but not. Even then, it's hard to get to.
It'll
like,
happen here.
You gotta really suck.
If you're losing on stage here, and then you try to go into the crowd and try to make fun of somebody, and like I'm talking about maliciously go after them, like they haven't said anything. You don't get that treatment back, like, and then because it's like they're still giving you a chance. We haven't said anything.
Right.
I mean, we like
once the audience likes you can get away with a lot.
What's the what?
Once the audience likes you can get away with a lot.
Once they like you, it's like, man, you can say anything.
Yeah, but if you don't get to like when I was in, man, we are really over time now. But like my only thing was like when I start off my set, I always start off with like making fun of me. Because like before I go after you, I gotta make fun of me first. So you can be like, yo, I can laugh at myself. Now you're next. Like, but if you just go after them first, or if you're not doing well, then you go after. Yeah, then it's just like, what you doing, man?
Yeah. That's why I like hosting. I love to host. I love hosting a show. Like it's fun.
MCing.
Oh my God.
That's a tough position too.
It's easy for me.
Okay, I had a great MC set recently, and okay, like my thing about it too is like I'm not able to get on stage as often as most people are.
Right.
Like what's recommended, right? Is like you get them like 4 times a week or something like that.
Right.
I can't. My max is twice a week.
Okay, so yeah.
Because like when I'm on stage, like I said, I hear everything, I see, like everything for me is like extreme.
Yeah.
Like I'm always thinking about like look at this guy. It's like I'm always looking for stuff to talk about.
But your time is more valuable though. So like you only get 2 mics, so you gotta go hit them.
That's part of the reason, like I did, like, you know Bill Bouchard?
Yeah.
So I was talking to Bill about one of these, and he was like, you can't do that, you gotta go. He's like, why are you setting yourself up for success? I'm like, isn't that what you're supposed to do, is set yourself up for success? And he's like, that's a good point, but you had a bomb. Everyone, you're the first one to say it. Like, yeah, you got a bomb,
man. Like, cause I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna admit that. I'm never gonna be the comedian all I've always been winning. Like, man, whatever.
No, like if I bomb, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I've had shitty shows, but I've never actually like bombed.
Yeah.
Or if I have, it didn't feel as bad to me.
I remember I was in a comedy competition and I bombed so hard that the next guy after me bombed too. It was like, damn, I caused his bomb. Like,
Is that bad?
it was terrible.
Where was this?
We were at Baker's and it was a comedy competition.
Oh, look, Baker. Oh, yeah.
Baker's Keyboard Lounge on A-Mile,
Yeah.
and Simply Chanel was
I've been
hosting.
there before.
And what happened was, it was a competition for...
I can see you on that stage.
Oh yeah, it was a competition for the, back in the day, Milwaukee Genuine Draft, or the Milwaukee Brewing Company used to do a comedy competition. It was like $3,000. So this particular competition in Detroit, well, like grand prize was like $300 and a plane ticket to Milwaukee, so you can be entered into the competition. So you know, I'm probably 2 years in comedy, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to get this, and I go up there, and it was bad. Like it was
Ate it back in
bad. Oh man, like you know it's bad when nobody wants to talk to you after you get off stage. Like,
Oh,
hey.
man. Nobody. I know, like at least
Turn
that's some
their
sort of
shoulder on you?
like. It's like, yeah, like, good job. Like none of that.
No.
That's the worst part. Oh, I've never had that before. Damn,
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
You did that bad? They don't want to even talk
nobody
to
wanted
you.
to talk to me. And then outside they were having a conversation and indirectly was talking about me, and I'm like, man, well, fuck you then. I'm trying. Like it was a wreck, man. But I didn't prepare myself either. Like now I have a ritual. I don't eat before I perform, and
Me neither.
I meditate. I see the crowd doing what I want them to do and moving them like how I want to move them. Like now comedy to me is like being an MC that can really rock the crowd. Like now you got to know what you're saying, and then you can hit them. And then at the end of the day, I'm not trying to tell these jokes. I'm just telling my truth. And if you ride with me, you ride with me. If you don't, fuck it, you don't. And I don't care.
Yeah, we're not trying to get everyone to like you. It's like you will never get everyone to like your joke. That's okay. Like, but what I do is like, so like when I was talking about like Mike Ball, like I'm very like engineering when it comes to my comedy, right? Like I'm an engineer by trade. I have a very analytical mind. So the way I literally count how many mics I go to, and I'm like, so I'm gonna go to 20 mics. If this joke works on 80% of the 20 mics, it's a good joke. Yeah, that's what I go. I'm like 80%, it's good because like you're never gonna get 100. It's not like there's always gonna be somebody who's just like, I don't like that joke.
Right.
And like that's okay.
Right.
That's fine.
But at the end of the day, there's nothing. I can tell you tricks of the trades of what I do. But at the end of the day, there's a walk we walk alone, and then we figure things out.
It's a very solitary thing.
It is.
You on stage alone, bro.
Yeah. It's like being born every night when you get on stage. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a twin and you're on stage with your twin, but this is just something like what I do. It works for me. It may not work for you or the next person. Then it may work for the 8th person down the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you try to find your own group, own niche to be great. Somebody posed a question to me. What are you trying to do with your comedy, J Bell? And I was probably like 2-3 years in, and I was like, be funny, and I never have been asked
2 years
that
in, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Even now, like the more I'm doing it, the more I realize I don't know anything. Like the more years I'm in it, I was like, wow, there's more that I don't know than I do know.
Yep. And that's what life is about.
Very humbling.
Yeah, it is, especially.
Like if you think that, like, part of the reason I love stand-up is that even if you're at like a really high, like good high, the next day you could
take out,
just take a
or like you'll try to grab we try to grab like 2 or 3 mics a night. You know what I'm saying? So you'll grab one mic
by the
here.
third mic.
And then, like, you had a blazing hot set the first time, and the second mic, it was kind of all right. And then that third mic, you don't do good. You're trying to find another mic that night just so, you know what I'm saying, your night balances out.
You can sleep well.
Yeah.
we all been that way.
I went to Chicago, and, like, it was, like, right after my dad's funeral, and I had set up a whole bunch of shows prior to, and it was just like, I still got to go. So the first night I was at Just Niche Room in Francis, and did terrible, man. It was like it was to the point where they was like holding off, like debating if they were gonna pay me or not. Like,
oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? But
that's some bullshit. That's why you need unions. So
right, real talk.
That's why you need them.
So even my homeboy was in. You gotta have real friends around you. Like, he was like, you were terrible. Like when we got in the car, like, you were terrible. Like I didn't even want to. Like he walked out the club before. Like he didn't want to walk out with me. It was crazy shit. So I said, yo,
you don't want to be seen with you
at all. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to be seen with me either. But then it was like, all right, I had to sit down because I had to eat that, and the next show was like 2 days away. So I was like, fuck, I'm in Chicago. I don't even want to be seen. Like I feel like if I walked out the door, they were like, yeah, that's that dude that bombed the other night. So I went to the next show I had to do. I just was like, yo, I wasn't prepared. I was ill prepared. Let's go. Let's do this. Boom, 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 boom. All right, you did it. And I always turn my phone on record. like to record myself because I freestyle a lot. You know what I'm saying? So now I was like, oh, that was funny. All right, you gotta laugh on that. We'll put this together and then add to this, and then you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's really like Tetris when it comes to material. Like for me, that's how I see it. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of like figuring stuff out.
Yeah,
it's more than people. Yeah, like that's why I feel like I enjoy writing more than performing.
Yeah, man.
Because I feel like that's where you get like when you're on stage, your creativity is not as high as when you're actually writing. And for me personally, some people like they can come up with new stuff like in the moment.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's more like I'm adding on to what already exists.
Right.
But I can't get like I can get anywhere new. That's what everyone tells me. It's like no, like it's just like a process. But like I was telling like Jay, it's like I need to know where I'm going. That's the reason I go like word for word on what I wrote. It's not that I don't trust my ability to do crowd work. It's just that I have to know where I'm going with this. Otherwise, I'm like lost.
But when you're on stage, you have to look out for the comedy gold. Like the comedy gold is just something that sporadically happens
in the moment,
nowhere else, and you have to capitalize on that right there. And that's a sharpening, like right there of your iron, where it's like, yo, somebody sneezes and hoots and you hear the shit, and it's like, oh man, you gotta get that shit right then and there, or some drunk dude and his girlfriend get into it. You have to deviate from your script and like attack that.
That's what I'm working on. Yeah, it's hard for me right now.
Yeah, but it's like he told us, man. Grab 1,000 mics. Going down that road with grabbing 1,000 mics, you're gonna have that incident happen. You're gonna have that situation happen, and it's real and it's a part of it, man. It's just keeping your head in the game and going forward, man. Yeah.
Man, I could talk to you all day about this. Man. We were like so far over, man. But that was an amazing conversation,
man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, keep this going, man.
And any like social media shout outs you want to go
at
for?
At JBell Comedy on everything. If you type in JBell Comedy, you can see it. If you still have On Demand or have Comedy Central, go check out Kevin Hart Presents Heart of the City, Season 2, Episode 5. Shout out to Mike Jeter, Alton Boogie Williams, Jeff Horst, man, and myself, JBell. It was a great episode, great time, man. Appreciate you, Howie Bell. Big shout out to you. And yeah, this is what we do.
Oh man, thank you guys for watching. Stay fresh.
Peace.